What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Gregway in the car for Tuesday. Is that right? Jesus, it's only Tuesday the 29th. I definitely felt like it was a Wednesday already. It's me, Greg, driving to work on another overcast San Francisco July day. I hope you're having a great time. I hope you're living the life out there, enjoying everything, rocking it, killing it, crushing it. I'm driving to work right now. Gonna review Grounded 2 on the Gamescast with Snow Bike Mike. Gonna do the games daily. Gonna have a million meetings and then meetings. That's it. Yeah. Last night I went home, played more Pokemon, had a great time with that. At work, played more Grounded 2 with Mikey. So I was excited about that. And here we are now, heading to work to do all that and yada, 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 blah, blah. Thanks for all the feedback on the Pokemon episode yesterday. Great stuff there. Very enjoyable. But today we're not going to talk about Nintendo, Pokemon, or anything. We're going to answer Riley's question. Riley wrote in over on the Patreon chat, like you can on patreon.com/kindafunny. Of course, you can leave your comment on the comments of the Patreon post, on the comments of the YouTube video, on the comments of the Spotify video. I try to pull from everywhere. But Riley wrote in with the question that he swears is respectful. He swears he's not trying to be confrontational on this motherfucker. No, I'm kidding. Riley wrote in and said, again, not in a respectful way, not to, be confrontational. Basically, do you think, Greg, that you are the console contrarian? Riley said, of course, you grew up a Sega kid to the much more popular and better system Nintendo. Of course, you defended Sega. During that PlayStation 3 era, you were all about PlayStation instead of the much more popular Xbox 360. And now that, of course, Phil Spencer and Xbox are lagging behind, Riley called out the disastrous Xbox One launch to the PlayStation 4. Obviously, now I've talked a lot about how I'm very excited about what Xbox is doing and very much playing games on Xbox rather than that. He said abandoned your PlayStation trophies for the Xbox ecosystem, which I think is a bridge too far. I'm willing to talk about that in this Gregway as well. But basically he said, to end it, I get it. I'm a Cubs fan. I get rooting for the underdog. I was just wondering what your perspective was on it. And it's an interesting question. I think the answer is fuck no and fuck you. No, I'm kidding, Riley. I do think the answer is no. I think it's a hard no. But this is one of those things where, honestly, my opinion on it, I don't think matters nearly as much as yours. You all listen to me talk about video games each and every day on some form of media, probably. And you could tell me better than me if Riley is ringing true with his hypothesis here. I would say no, and my arguments would go as follows, right? Like, Sega, Nintendo, sure, of course, like, I bought into that thing, but I'm well aware I should have had Nintendo, and it was, I was wrong. You cite the PlayStation 3 Xbox 360 thing, and that I also don't think works because you figure, first off, what brought me to PlayStation was the failure of my N64. When my No Mercy save kept getting eaten on N64, I walked in, traded in my entire N64, bought a PlayStation, bought SmackDown, came home, played Metal Gear, did a whole thing. Yada, you've probably heard the rigmarole before, which led me to PlayStation 2, which was obviously the most popular system of the time, which then led me, timeline-wise to IGN, where I get hired at IGN to go write about PlayStation at the time PlayStation 3 launches, and as you've probably heard as well, I wasn't out here saying the PlayStation 3 is better than Xbox. I was the one saying on Podcast Beyond, episode 1 through 25 or something, probably, like, I would not buy a PlayStation 3, probably way more than 25. I was like, I would not buy a PlayStation 3. I got pulled into a room and it was like, Greg, we understand that you got to stop saying that on the podcast. Unless it's coming up directly, you're working it into conversations that don't need it worked into. So no, even then when I was doing it, like, I was covering PlayStation. I was a beat reporter for PlayStation. But I don't think it was just to be contrarian of like, well, Xbox 360 is so great, but my PlayStation 3 has a compact flash reader on the front of it. Like, no, like, I don't think that's what it was. And I think part of what made those early days of Beyond and the PlayStation ecosystem special were the fact that there were a bunch of people who bought a fucking system for $599 and were now stuck with it. And so we were playing things and enjoying things and bitching about things not coming to it, and bitching about third-party ports looking garbage on PlayStation. I digress. It wasn't that this is hands down and far and away a better system. I'm sure we had console arguments like that, or console fanboy arguments like that here and there, but whatever. And then to your point of the Xbox One eating shit at the PlayStation 4 launch, like, for your hypothesis to ring true, I would have had to have rallied the Xbox One there. My current hype for Xbox and what they're doing, I think has been explained at length, but if it hasn't, like, right, like, they're just making choices that I think are good for the gamer I am in 2025. That I want my games on my console at home, and that I want to be able to take them somewhere via my ROG Ally. I want the same save. And again, to the you're abandoning the PlayStation ecosystem, or abandoning some trophies for the Xbox ecosystem. I don't buy that either. Like, I've talked a lot about this, and there's plenty of examples of me saying, well, I'll play that on Xbox then. I'm prioritizing play anywhere over trophies. That's all it is. If this is a game that I cannot take back and forth on my Xbox and Steam Deck or ROG Ally, and I'm not confident in the performance of it, like, I'm trying to think of a good example. Like, let's talk about Mafia: The Old Country. Mafia: The Old Country, I don't think is Play Anywhere. I could be wrong. You tell me. Sorry, some weird text message from Phishing Scheme just popped up. I was like, what? Mafia: The Old Country is not Play Anywhere to my knowledge, and I imagine that won't run incredibly well on my ROG Ally. That means Mafia: The Old Country is being played on my PlayStation, because yes, I'd want trophies for it. And obviously that's a game I'm going to want on the big screen. Yes, I would love it to be on the little screen, my handheld, and look great, but I don't believe it's going to run well on the ROG Ally, whereas, like, I think it'll look great. So when I want to play that cinematic game and all this other stuff I'm tossing on there. I think there's another wrinkle to this thing too, right? Where the Switch 2 has come into the picture now, and I'm fucking loving the Switch 2, playing it way more than I ever played my Switch 1, right? And I think what I've noticed now is that games that are like, oh, well, it's on PC, and I'm talking about small games, right? I'm not going to name names because they're not out yet, but like indie things, right? I'm like, oh, well, I'll request the Switch version rather than the PC version, right? Whereas, like, when the Switch 1 was so far behind on tech and power and I was like, all right, well, fuck this thing. I'm just using it for the Nintendo exclusive I need to. Now that Switch 2 is in a better spot and I'm using it a lot more, I'm asking for games there because it's doing what I want with that. Switch 2, again, like, the portable PC market, right? What I want out of a console, like, Switch 2's doing it. I just want, in the perfect world, I just want one fucking machine. I want the PlayStation 6 to be a Switch that I just carry, I unplug it and take it with me, and I come home and I dock it, and there it's on the TV, right? Like, that's what the Switch does. And again, the Switch being the Switch means it runs things a little bit more effortlessly than a ROG Ally or something to that effect. So, anyways, I'm prioritizing certain things, and Xbox is chasing the things I want to prioritize. And that's winning out on Xbox Play Anywhere games, but, like, we're still not seeing that in terms of every third-party release coming out. So I haven't abandoned PlayStation in anything. And again, am I just being a contrarian? I don't think so, because what if Play Anywhere sucked? And then I was sitting here telling you Play Anywhere sucks. Or I'm sorry, if Play Anywhere sucked and I was sitting here telling you Play Anywhere was awesome, that's being a contrarian, I think, IMO. Of like, well, I'm going to argue the thing that everybody likes. But that's not what we're doing here, right? Where you see these individual moves and changes in business strategies come out. And again, for Xbox, strategies they're only going after because they lost the main war, right? Like, anyways, you see them all start netting out, and then I think you see me not being a contrarian about it, but being a commentator, being a talking head, being an industry pundit, being like, hey, you got to give credit where credit's due, and this is the ooh, there was a bus parked over here, I didn't see coming. You got to give credit where credit's due, and like, this is something that actually matters to me. Like, again, Xbox is making choices in terms of Play Anywhere and hardware stuff that is speaking to my soul. Of like, that's what I want. I want PlayStation to do that as well. Obviously, I love my Portal. I still love trophies. But in my current day and age of being stressed out at work, there being I think that's another thing about trophies, right? Where it's like, there are just so many fucking games. In the old days where it could be like a game came out and you could just shut up. I could just shut up for a month and a half, grind that out, get all the trophies, have a great time doing X, Y, and Z. Like, those days are gone. Like, even playing Pokemon, I feel fucking guilty, guys. You know what I mean? I'm turning on the Mon here. I'm going after it. But it's like, I know that I'm ignoring. I have so many other things in my inbox, so many things on my computer, so many things on my PlayStation that I'm like, I really should go touch this. I should go play this, but I want to play this. And obviously, for what we do, there's conversation and content to be made of Greg's Pokemon Violet review whenever that actually happens, right? Where I do that. And obviously, I've got to get ready to go to the Pokemon World Championships. I got to place well. I got to shove it down Tim's throat. So, like, whatever. Throw that aside, because that was definitely a detour on this conversation. I don't think I'm contrarian on consoles just to be contrarian. I think PlayStation's been on top all of the PlayStation 4 generation and all of the PlayStation 5 generation. So again, I would have jumped, if it was just to be contrarian, I would have jumped a long time ago. I think, right? Of like, that's not what it is. But again, you tell me. It's not an underdog thing as much as I think, wow, they're making really interesting, bold choices that the other company isn't making. But all that said, like, Ghost of Yote is going to come in and like, boom, that's all I'm going to play. Will I platinum it? Probably not, because it'll be, I roll credits on that, and then I have to move on to Pokemon Za, right? Pokemon Za is the next one after that. Like, there is just no stopping the big games, let alone the little games you should be paying attention to. You know what I mean? I'm still very much like, when am I getting a Hell Is Us code? And then what, that's September single digits? September double digits? I forget. Well, it's not going to be triple digits. September teens? I forget. But it's coming up, and it's like, cool, but before that, it's Metal Gear, and like Metal Gear Solid 3, like obviously not the longest game in the world, but again, you want your time with it. That's what and like, well, what about this indie? What about that indie? What about this? Like, there's so many fucking games right now, and I don't know. I guess that's the interesting part of just like the ecosystem of Xbox or ROG Ally or like this is probably the most diverse I've ever been as a gamer in terms of platforms. You figure for IGN covering PlayStation, I was ride or die PlayStation because I needed to know the ins and outs of every one of the systems. And I loved that, and that was great. And I think even, you know, starting kind of funny and going that way, there was that. Like, I flirted with the Switch, sure. I flirted with an Xbox, sure. I've flirted with a PC, sure. But suddenly, like, you're in right now, a thing where it literally is, what am I going to play on tonight? What am I going to play? Who knows what it's going to be? I mean, I have a Mac right now with games on it that I need to play. That's where my life is at in terms of the amount of things I need to touch and go for. But then I go home and I'm like, well, what if I just fucking made a new team? I said, you know what, last night? I was like, all right, I'm in the DLC. I'm filling the Pokedex with the new people, but I'm just kicking the shit out of everybody with one hit. Fuck this. I went and built the dream team, all right? I put on a Pikachu. Who else I put in there? I put on the little bluebird. I forget his fucking name. Little blue jay guy. I went for all the guys who look cool. I'm tired. I can't remember what it was. But I got them, and I'm like, let's just go. So now I'm having battles that matter with level 10s and 14s or whatever, because I was like, let's just build a new team. Let's get the new Avengers going here. All right, we got the Avengers from the main team. Quackers can take a seat. We can come out here and we can do this. But that's what it is, you know. But I feel guilty. I feel guilty. One of the games I have, I want to play. I fucking hate this. I missed the code. Where the code came through, it's not a big game. It's a code came through last week, and it's a code I've been waiting for. But they fucking put in their headline, they made it look like a dumb press release. And so I totally skipped it, archived it right away. And then like I got an email yesterday from my PR guy. He's like, hey, did you get the code? I'm like, fuck. And so now it's like I'm in a pinch where it's like, I gotta focus on Grounded. Maybe tonight I could do it, but again, the heart wants what it wants. And right now it wants to be the very best. Like no one ever was. So I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. You know what I mean? Too many goddamn games to play. But I hope you're having fun. I hope you're playing cool stuff. What are you playing right now? What's a normal person playing? You're a normal person for the most part. Probably. Unless you're Mike Towndrow, then you're a fucking psychopath. But what are you playing? You know? What are you into right now? Why is this car so far over? You see, I'm not even the first car. There's a car in front of me. You're all the way over here. Crazy ass. Too many games. Which is a great problem to have. It's just a hard problem to have when your job is to play video games. Because I had to play a bunch of Grounded, so that means I shut down on a bunch of stuff. And now I'm coming out of Grounded hibernation, but it means I gotta go play Pokemon because I want to be fucking the Pokemaster. You already know that I'm on Mothra. I gotta go be the Pokemaster. These are the things that keep Greg awake at night as he tries to figure all of this out. But vacation next week, and I'm planning on, this is a bold statement, everybody prepare. Vacation next week, I'm planning on just bringing the Switch 2. I'm just going to toss the Switch 2 in the bag. I'm not going to bring the ROG. I'm not going to worry about the latest and greatest. I'm just going to bring that, play the Pokemon, play the Bonanzas. Try to come back here with Pokemon and all the DLC beat so I can get that in, so I can then shove it down Tim's throat. Said I couldn't do it, I did it. Don't worry about me, Tim. Idiot. You better open LiftMaster, not about your shit today. Everybody, I'm pulling into the office. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you are ready to play some video games. I hope you get time to play video games. I hope you have a great dinner. Eat a pizza. I love pizza, as you know. Little known fact about me. You might look at me and go, man, that man's in shape. He probably doesn't eat pizza. I eat pizza a lot, everybody. We're at the office. I'll talk to you later. Bye.